Previously on My Life as a Rust Pacifist. Fighting for scraps at a dinner table that isn't even ours. VoIP isn't working, and now we need to move into an avoid at all costs strategy. Bro, you missed? They needed me as a patsy. I went down early, but I got up and I took a great headshot to the face for a teammate.
Yeah, they're getting raided tonight, little.
Oh!
What are you doing, man?
These guys informed me that the HOA did not approve my expansion. Legends say the indigenous people can smell a full inventory. I got one thing on my mind for this episode, and it is quite literally sowing the seeds of expansion. 3 plots just isn't enough if we're going to get some good clones. We need to expand, and quickly. But expansion isn't as easy as it seems. It's not just throwing a couple more planters down. I need renewable water, fertilizer, light, which means electricity. And this seems like a good point to stop and tell you what I'm doing, what my strategy is for farming. I'm going to try to gloss over things a bit and keep things broad strokes so your eyes don't glaze over, but for those of you who don't want to hear about farming, skip ahead. Are you feeling like a fill here? Like a farming failure? After 30 seconds of this video, you're going to feel like Frank here. And you know what they call Frank? The farmer who fucks. You see, Frank places his berries so that he can guarantee none of the colors crossbreed together. Because Frank wants his berry farm to become so powerful, it feels like a fascist berry dictatorship. Frank knows the value of Y genes and the value of G genes, and he knows that a perfect 3 and 3 makes the god clone. What Frank will typically do to start his berry farm is to look for 4 good genes, aka at least a combination of 4 Ys or Gs. If he doesn't find one, he'll just start again. Frank monitors things like light coverage, quality of soil, his water levels, and his temperatures on those cold winter nights. But Frank is never cold. You want to know why? Because Frank is the farmer who fucks. But as I was tending to my berries, as I do, I heard what sounded like footsteps in my base. You scared the shit out of me. It's just a friendly Captain Platypus. And good lord, he could not have come at a better time, because about 2 minutes later, this happened. Wow, good thing you're here. My farm's getting raided. And I'll be damned if I let this beautiful farm die. I scrounged up the little stone that I had reserved in my TC for upkeep, and thankfully they vastly underestimated the damage that Molotovs can do. With that, I did what any war dog would do, and I outfitted my platypus with as much gear as I could, and I sent him out to fight. Let me bait. Of course, I would go with him to soak arrows or bullets or whatever it took to keep the farm safe. Where the fuck is this guy? Running? Hey. Hey. I did my job and he did his. But it's good. I used 2 bullets. Good beast. He dispatched those ruffians with ease and even got me back up. With the enforcer by my side, there was nothing to worry about while I farmed enough stone to secure my base from anything less than explosives. I need some poop. For those of you who don't know, you can take horse poop, put it in the compost, and it's the most effective way to create fertilizer for your crops. I'm gonna grab me a couple ponies, wrestle them into a little building I'm making, and force feed them pumpkins and corn. Now, before you worry, of course I did my due diligence to make sure that it was okay to do this. I asked Copilot, the sponsor of today's... No, just kidding. It's still just me. Just me. Good sub. Good sub. Anyway, this assisted us in finding out that yes, in fact, they can survive off corn and pumpkins. And just as I had hoped, they're going to be pooping constantly. The timing was perfect because my Jamaican crime boss just stopped by for his first tea and was hoping to have a lot more of them soon for his minions. If I wanted to keep the protection, I needed to continue to prove my value. I saved up enough scrap to go buy Steve from the ranch next door, and I set off to take him home to feed him and love him and collect his poop. But he died from me opening my door, so I guess you could say natural causes. But his big brother Steve too did just fine. Another tea bag in my cup of success. Things were really starting to come along. Nothing could get me down. Even taking 40 wooden spears and stabbing my own wall for 30 minutes to fix a mistake I made. Hey Steve too. I'm sure you can imagine I've gathered a lot of supplies that a pacifist can't use. The recyclers are in dangerous areas and they felt kind of out of the question, so I made the decision to travel all the way to Outpost to recycle my goods by way of backwards train. And yeah, I had to hop on a couple different ones and there were some close calls definitely, but we made it to Outpost and we accomplished our goal. This run would be the seed money I would use to research and build a lot of the automation that I needed for my farm. It's crazy how any one of these things that I did could have gone terribly wrong and set me back 12 hours. But, you know, things work out the way that they do, and there's not a whole lot you can do other than your best. I made it back, got my water pumps pumping, my sprinklers sprinkling, and we were officially in full swing with my eyes set on opening up a tea shop within the day. But then I got a call from my group. They said they needed a conductor to drive and look out for them in the tunnels. Looks like the farm's gonna have to wait.